Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Bedrock Basics. Well, we've finished 1 month. 1 month of Bedrock Basics on the Wild Coast with my good friend Chuck Ross. And I just want to give you a base tour. And you can see in the background, I've just got a light marking the 0 point of this world. And as you can see, we spawned into a dark oak forest. It's full of resources. Dark oak, and birch are the three woods of the forest, plus giant mushrooms. And when we spawned in, we found this bay with an island just outside of the bay. And it's kind of our focal point of the build that Chuck and I agreed upon, that we would center our starting city from. Chuck selected this area here right on the side of the hill next to that water feature and a lush cave entrance there. And myself, I started right at the 0 point. We didn't want to step on each other's toes, so we wanted to be in the same neighborhood but not overlapping on each other. And as you can see, this area's got a bit of a beach here, but it's a whole lot of trees. And that also meant a whole lot of monsters spawning. It was a lot of fun and a lot of dying at first. And I just want to note this tiny island off on the coast because it's the site of one of the builds for the first month. This island is about 200 away from 0, like minus 200, minus 300. And we'll just take you back to the primary area. Again, I centered myself off of 0 there, marked with the light feature, and Chuck's just on the other side of the bay to begin with. And then we will get into what we built. So now here, this is basically 0 here, and I built, because it's over the water, I built a house up on stilts, and right away, because it's in the water and that's where my starting house is, added a boat to it. And that was my starting house. Here on that island, it's currently a map room at the island at the mouth of the bay, and it's got a big flat top because it's the site of a future project. It's not done yet, but you can see the concept here is just a map, a blown up version on the floor, and on the wall is the micro version zoomed out to the maximum. Just of the 4 blocks of our immediate area here. Okay, the bay is lined with a boardwalk or a dock, and gave us a means to access each other without having to run through the trees and getting whacked by creepers and skeletons all the time. Truck right away built a farm structure, which is excellent. One of the first things you need in this game is a reliable source of food. And that reliable source of food, it feeds us. It also lets us reproduce our animals. Pumpkins are great for making jack-o'-lanterns for light sources. Found some cactus on our journeys and made a quick little farm out of that. And if you watch Chuck's episodes, you can see this is his starting house here, just where he started. Bare minimum there, yeah, but you don't need a whole lot when you're just starting. And of course, he's got his cozy little fireplace, so cute. Anyway, when he expanded, he gave himself a basement for storage. Oh, come on, get on. There it is. And he found himself a pet from one of the lush caves, Mr. Skeetle, an axolotl. He's now currently working on, and it's not spoiling it because he already released this episode, on his Tudor House expansion, and I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future. He built this lovely, cozy, enchanting house. Again, check out his episodes. Go to his channel. There'll be a link in the description to Chuck Ross's channel. Go check out the old episodes if you want to see how he put this together. He's a really creative guy, really worth your time, and entertaining to see. I like working with him. This is future site of another build. I'm not going to spoil it, but stay tuned to Chuck for more on that. And he's got a really creative way of making things organic. He doesn't like straight lines, he likes them fluid. Okay, this was one of my first builds. It's just a big empty inn for villagers and reproducing villagers, because villagers are one of the best resources in this game. Combine them with their workstations, trading halls, etc. But you need villagers, and you need to reproduce them, and that's primarily what this building's for. On the interior, coming through the kitchen here, it's basically, I didn't just want a whole bunch of beds in one room, so I gave them a dining hall and decorated it up. And the surrounding rooms of the inn, there's, let's see, 12 rooms, each with 2 beds in it. So these guys will reproduce until there's 24 villagers in here. And we decorated with some artwork and some stained glass. And the theme that I picked for this is the St. George's Cross, which is basically a red cross on a white background, super easy to replicate even in this game. And it's got a long history. If you're ever curious, it's a good little YouTube search and read. So you'll see the red cross and white background carried on throughout different buildings, like there at the shepherds that are linked to the sheep right next door and their looms. Building more red cross, white background banners, sheep of every color. And this first house up here was for enchanters, and go ahead and check out old episodes to see the construction process on any of these components of the village. And decorated up the interior. And the 2 enchanters that I wanted right away were Mending and Silk Touch. So we got Marvin the Mender and Silk Touch Saul. And name tagged them so that we would know, because I'm not the only one on this server. And that way we know who's who when we walk up to them, and they're easier to find. As I mentioned, all kinds of sheep with 16 different colors of Minecraft in it. A big old chicken coop, which is at pretty good capacity here. Not so much for food, but as a source of feathers to build arrows. Okay. These are stables. Later on, we'll put some more horses in. Right now, there's just 2. We got Inspire here, and of course, name tag Spire. And right next to Inspire is the other horse that I've kept, because I'll admit, we got Inspire here and Create, and they're fast. And I have tamed other horses, but thankfully, like, we're not digital monsters, but they were slow and not worth the space. So we're keeping the space for good horses, and the rest have been turned into leather. This little side area here is going to be for donkeys. As you can see, donkey tack. Just for more character, not just horses. This is the foundry for refining things. Inside we've got 4 furnaces and 2 super furnaces, blast furnaces as it were, and some lava generators for fuel, and extra fuel sitting on a work table ready to go. A couple warehouses for storage, one of the first builds that were done, because playing in survival you become a hoarder. You never throw anything away because you never know when you're going to need it for a future build. Okay, added a complete replica of the standard Minecraft ship. Totally rebuilt from the shipwreck schematics and just changed the interior a bit so it's a bit of a cargo ship that's serviceable and not a wreck at the bottom of the sea. My starting house, I used a Swedish color scheme, go Sweden, and for this ship here, I've linked it in my mind. There's the crew. I've linked it to this port, so everything is red and white based for its colors. The sails have big old St. George's crosses on them. Got inspired the one night and built a big old lumber yard and dockyard, and of course had to stick a worker into every one of the top of the cranes. But even in medieval times, they actually had working cranes for heavy loads and construction, and I feared the shipyard needed it. Those are the 3 wood types there: birch, oak, and dark oak that you find throughout this area. Some wagons just hauling the appropriate cargoes in the appropriate areas. Okay, built in clearing out the land and flattening it out to build things, you wind up with some weird terrain features afterwards. So this retaining wall is a corrective measure so that we can get back to where the land has formed from knocking it down from forests and making it flat at height 63. Put in the retaining wall with access doors. The lumber mill is over here, mostly decorative, as those are actually stone cutters, but that's the saw that you get in Minecraft. Gave them an office and a dining area, and of course sleeping quarters. And this is basically the lumber camp. Can't have a lumber camp without having stuff to harvest, so out this side we've got some donkeys hauling some logs, and then past that we've got an area to grow more wood for harvesting. In the future, I add little decorations like lighten up the area so that there's no monsters spawning underneath these trees. Ship under construction at the dockyard, of course. And yes, every one of these cranes has a worker in a safety cage. It's not a prison, it is a safety cage. And all 3 of them, yep. Even this guy here, you think he's a simp with no job? Yeah, he's got a job. He's a crane worker. That's a job and a half. Okay, out across the water, threw up an iron farm and decorated it with a few statues because the iron farm by itself is pretty basic. Again, for details on any one of these builds, look at my or Chuck Ross's channel and just look at old episodes. They're all there and appropriately labeled. And down at the bottom of the iron farm, we've got our gathering of 20 villagers, which 20 villagers with jobs, simps won't count, will initiate the ability to spawn iron golems. And they are more than 100 blocks away from any other workstation or bed because we don't want to screw up the spawning mechanics for the golems and the radius that they'll spawn. So that's the iron farm. Look at the iron farm episode for more details. Okay, zoom back in, and we're getting through this nicely. Okay, and this chamber here is the bubble vader. I wanted, we found a trial chamber. We also found in our explorations a couple lush caves where some monster spawners are. So we need to get down to it, and that's all this is. I dug and I dug and I dug and I dug and made a stairwell, and I won't take it all the way down the stairs, and put a bubble vader in the middle so you can jump down a shaft into a puddle on one side and climb the bubble vader on the other for way faster up and down travel. So again, for controlling spawns and later on making a Nether hub, I started the Nether at 0, there. And this tunnel will continue on down to a trial chamber. But because it's 800 blocks away, we hop through the Nether. And instead of traveling 800 blocks, we only have to travel 100 blocks. And then we can make another Nether portal to access that area, which is what this is. And that'll take us to the area where the trial chambers are. So you can see we got another bubble vader there. That tunnel there is a physical way to walk back to 0, through the underground at height -57. It was a good way to gather diamonds along the way too. This is a stairwell up to where the trial chamber is, and because I don't like taking the stairs, I made another bubble vader. So we bubble up into the entry area. Again, feel free to check out our trial chamber episode. It's on Chuck Ross's channel, link in description. And you can see this is not a typical trial chamber, as anyone who's seen these before know. The difference is that I'm gutting it for resources. You can see there's just tons of copper and tough bricks. The redstone lamps, which are beautiful, they're actually copper lamps, but all kinds of building resources. And you can see that I'm just in the process of gutting it for those resources and bringing them back to our town for building. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you guys is Nether progress. Again, talking with Chuck, my co-YouTuber in this project, we agreed certain key things that we should do together are progress towards the Ender Dragon, the journey through the first trial chamber, etc. So the next key thing that we're probably going to work together on is either a Nether fortress or a bastion remnant, whichever one we find first going through the Nether. So here is the Nether portal. It originally spawned up there, just dug down, rebuilt it here. And then the base height for the Nether is 32. This is basically sea level in the Nether, but instead of water they've got lava all over the place. So this is 0 at height 32, and you can see that I'm just making a roadway out in each direction as we're looking for Nether fortresses and bastion remnants, which we haven't found yet. So right now our Nether progress just consists of 4 roads going in the 4 different directions from the center, and it's encased in glass so that, number 1, we can see out. And number 2, the glass acts as a barrier that the ghasts and the skeletons that spawn down here are not going to start shooting at us. They'll leave us alone. So those are our safe access tunnels, and you can see this road is just a mess of partial building. And not too proud to say it, but I have died more times than I can count down here. And a lot of times it's from a magma cube just knocking me into a lava lake, dying from all the fire, and losing all kinds of enchanted gear, and it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating, but I'm more stubborn than that. So I put on my stubborn hat and I continue on the building. And this will probably be the focus in the next couple of weeks, is just to find that Nether fortress and bastion remnant. Nether portal submerged in lava. That's a bit awkward. And of course partially built roads. They become partially built roads when I wind up dying and go forget it. I'll come back to it when I'm more patient, calm, and have reset myself. Nether's a lot of fun though. Challenges are fun. If everything was super easy, it'd be too easy. But like this chicken here, there have been too many times where something's bumped me in the lava and I'm gone. So much destroyed enchanted diamond gear down there. Anyway, having all kinds of fun in this process, and if you have any comment about what you'd like to see, throw it in the comments section. Love to hear it, and a very good chance that we'd apply it. So in summary, just giving you a slow overall view. You can see the ships, the lumberyard, the retaining wall and causeway there. Those are stables, the inn, the 16 different colors of sheep, the bubble vader, the map, chicken coop, the looms and the wool brothers, the first couple enchanters. And our good neighbor Chuck Ross, his very cozy enchanting room, his farm setup, which has been refined more than once, and don't know if that's going to be the end effect, or if he's going to build some kind of greenhouse, or if he's going to expand on it, or if that's it and we move on to other builds. Stay tuned, find out more. His starting house, his Tudor house expansion, a spruce tree that's out of place, clearly farming the materials. And he even tapped into that original river and built a really cool aqueduct. So now the river comes down into a catchment and then comes out into an aqueduct which feeds the farms. So that's the end of this 1 month summary, and we hope to see you next time. Bye bye.